गाइस, स्वागत है आपका हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल में। आज हम आपके लिए फिर से एक नया वीडियो लेके आए। तो वीडियो को शुरू करने से पहले अगर आपने हमारा चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो चैनल को ज़रूर से ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन दबाना बिल्कुल मत भूलें, ताकि हम फ्यूचर में कोई भी वीडियो बनाएं उसका नोटिफिकेशन सबसे पहले आपको मिल जाए। तो चलिए वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं। आज हम जो आपके लिए टॉपिक लेके आए हैं वो अकाउंटेंसी का टॉपिक है, जिसके इस वीडियो के अंदर हम ये सारे टॉपिक्स कवर करेंगे, जैसे कि थ्योरी बेस ऑफ अकाउंटिंग, व्हाट इज़ गैप, दैट इज़ जनरली एक्सेप्टेड अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल, व्हाट इज़ बेसिक अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट्स, व्हाट आर द सिस्टम ऑफ अकाउंटिंग, दैट इज़ सिंगल एंट्री और डबल एंट्री, what is accounting standards, what are the needs of accounting standard, what are its benefit and limitation, and applicability of accounting standard and the need for IFRS। तो चलिए वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं। थ्योरी बेस्ड अकाउंटिंग। Accounting is concerned with the recording, classifying, and summarizing of financial transaction and events and interpreting the result thereof. It aims at providing information about the financial performance of a firm to its various users such as owner, manager, employees, investor, creditors, supplier of goods and services, tax authorities, and help them in taking important decisions. The investor, for example, may be interested in knowing the extent of profit or loss earned by the firm during a given period and then compare it with the performance of other similar enterprise. The supplier of credit, say a banker, may in addition be interested in liquidity position of an enterprise. All these people look forward to accounting for appropriate, useful, and reliable information. For making the accounting information meaningful to its internal and external user, it is important that such information is reliable as well as comparable. The comparability of information is required both to make inter-firm comparison, that is, to see how a firm has performed as compared to other firm, as well as to make inter-period comparison, that is, how it has performed as compared to the last year or previous year. This becomes possible only if the information provided by the financial statement is based on consistent accounting policies, principles, and practices. Such consistency is required throughout the process of identifying the event and transaction to be accounted for and measuring them, communicating them in the books of accounts, summarizing the result and thereof and reporting them to the interested parties. This calls for developing a proper theory base of accounting. So now let's talk about the gap. What is generally accepted accounting principle? In order to maintain uniformity and consistency in accounting records, there are certain rules or principles that have been developed which are generally accepted by the accounting professions. These rules are called by different names such as principle, concepts, convention, postulates, assumptions, and modifying principles. The term principle has been defined by AICPA as a general law or rule adopted or professed as a guide to action, a settled ground or basis of conduct or practice. The word generally means in a general manner, that is pertaining to many person or cases or occasions. Thus, generally accepted accounting principles refer to the rules or guidelines adopted for recording and reporting of business transaction, that is in order to bring the uniformity in the preparation and presentation of the financial statement. For example, one of the important rule is to record all the transaction on the basis of historical cost, which is verifiable from the documents such as cash receipt for the money paid. This brings in objectivity in the process of recording and makes the accounting statement more acceptable to various users. The generally accepted accounting principles have evolved over a long period of time on the basis of past experiences, usage, or customs, statement by individual and professional bodies and regulations by and have general acceptability among most accounting professionals. However, the principles of accounting are not static in nature. These are constantly influenced by changing in the legal, social and economic environment as well as the need of the users. These principles are also referred as concept and convention. The term concept refers to the necessary assumption and ideas which are fundamental to accounting practices, and the term convention denotes customs or tradition as a guide to the preparation of accounting statement. In practice, the same rule or guidelines have been described by one author as a concept, by another as a postulate, and still by another as conventions. This at times become confusing to the learner. Instead of going into the semantics of these terms, it is important to concentrate on the practicability of their usage. From the practicability viewpoint, it is observed that the various terms such as principle, postulate, convention, modifying principle, exemptions, etc., have been used interchangeably and are referred to as basic accounting concept in the present chapter. So let's talk about the basic accounting concept. The basic accounting concepts are referred to as the fundamental ideas or basic assumption underlying the theory and practice of financial account, and are broad working rules for all accounting activities and are developed by the accounting professions. The important concepts have been listed as below. First one is business entity concept. The concept of business entity assumes that business has a distinct and separate entity from its owner. This means that for the purpose of accounting, the business and its owner are to be treated as two separate entities, and that is two separate persons. Keeping this in view, when a person brings in some money as capital into his business, in accounting record it is treated as liability of the business to the owner. Here one separate entity, that is owner, is assumed to be giving money to another distinct entity, that is business unit. Similarly, when the owner withdraws any money from the business for his personal expenses, that is drawing, it is treated as a reduction of the owner's capital and consequently a reduction in the liabilities of the business. The accounting records are made in the books of account from the point of view of the business unit and not that of the owner. The personal asset and liabilities of the owner are therefore not considered while recording and reporting the assets and liabilities of the business. Similarly, personal transactions of the owner are not recorded in the books of business unless it involves the inflow or outflow of business fund. Second concept is money measurement concept. The concept of money measurement states that only those transactions and happening in an organization which can be expressed in terms of money such as sale of goods or payment of expense or receipt of income etc. are to be recorded in the books of account. That is, only those transactions are recorded in the books of account that can be measured in terms of money. All such transactions or happening which cannot be expressed in monetary terms are not recorded. Another important aspect of the concept of money measurement is that the records of the transaction are to be kept not in the physical unit but in the monetary unit. The money measurement assumption is not free from limitation. Due to the changes in prices, the value of money does not remain the same over a period of time. The value of rupee today on account of rise in price is much less than what it was 10 years back. As the change in the value of money is not reflected in the books of account, the accounting data does not reflect the true and fair view of the fare of an enterprise. Next one is going concern concept. The concept of going concern assumes that a business firm will continue to carry out its operation indefinitely, that is for a fairly long period of time, and will not be liquidated in the foreseeable future. This is an important assumption of accounting as it provides the very basis for showing the value of asset in the balance sheet. The assumption regarding continuity of business allow us to charge from the revenues of a period only that part of the asset which have been consumed or used to earn that revenue in that period, and carry forward the remaining amount to the next year over the estimated life of an asset. Next is accounting period concept. Accounting period refer to the span of time at the end of which the financial statement of an enterprises are prepared. That is to know whether it has earned profit or incurred loss during that period and what exactly is the position of its asset and liabilities at the end of that period. Such information is required by different user at regular interval for various purposes. As no firm can wait for long to know its financial result as various decisions are taken at a regular interval on the basis of such information. The financial statements are therefore prepared at regular interval, normally after a period of 1 year, so that timely information is made available to the user. This interval of time is called accounting period. Next one is cost concept. The cost concept required that all assets are recorded in the books of account at their purchase price, which include the cost of acquisition, transportation, installation, and making the asset ready to use. The concept of cost is historical in nature as it is something which has been paid on the date of acquisition and does not change year after year. For example, if a building has been purchased by a firm for rupees 2.5 crore, the purchase price will remain the same for all the years to come, though its market value may change. Adoption of historical cost bring in the objectivity in recording as the cost of acquisition is easily verifiable from the purchase document. The market value basis on the other hand is not reliable as the value of an asset may change from time to time, making the comparison between one period to another rather difficult. However, an important limitation of the historical cost basis is that it does not show the true worth of the business and may lead to hidden profit. During the period of rising price, the market value or the cost at which the asset can be replaced are higher than the value at which these are shown in the books of accounts, leading to a hidden profit. Next one is dual aspect concept. Dual aspect is the foundation or basic principle of accounting. It provides the very basis for recording business transaction into the books of accounts. This concept states that every transaction has a dual or twofold effect and should therefore be recorded at two places. In other words, at least two accounts will be involved in recording the transaction. The duality principle is commonly expressed in terms of fundamental accounting equation, which is as follows, that is asset is equal to capital plus liabilities. In other words, dual aspects say that every transaction has a dual aspect. In other words, the equation states that the asset of a business are always equal to the claims of the owner and the outsider. The claim are also called equity of the owner is termed as capital owner equity and that of outsider as liabilities, that is creditor equity. The twofold effect of each transaction affect in such a manner that the equality of both the side of equation is maintained. Next is revenue recognition, that is realization concept. The concept of revenue recognition requires that the revenue for a business transaction should be included in the accounting records only when the revenue is realized or the when revenue is earned. Here arise the two questions in the mind. First one is it is termed as revenue and other when then revenue is realized. Let us take the first one. Revenue is the gross inflow of cash arising from the sale of goods and service by an enterprise or the use by other of the enterprise resource yielding interest, royalties and dividend. Secondly, revenue is assumed to be realized when a legal right to receive it arises, that is, the point of time when goods have been sold or service have been rendered. Thus, credit sales are treated as revenue on the day sales are made and not when the money is received from the buyer. As for the income such as rent, commission, interest, these are recognized as on a time basis. There are some common exceptions to this general rule of revenue recognition. In case of contract like construction work which may take long time, say 2 to 3 years to complete, proportionate amount of revenue based on the part of contract completed by the end of the period is treated as realized. Similarly, when goods are sold in on hire purchase, the amount collected in installment is treated as realized. Next concept is matching concept. The process of ascertaining the amount of profit earned or the loss incurred during a particular period involves the deduction of related expense from the revenue earned during that period. The matching concept emphasizes exactly on this aspect. It states that expense incurred in an accounting period should be matched with the revenues during that period. It follows from this that the revenue and expense incurred to earn these revenues must belong to the same accounting period. As already stated, revenue is recognized when a sale is complete or service is rendered rather when cash is received. In the same manner, an expense is recognized not when cash is paid but when an asset or service has been used to generate revenue. For example, expenses such as salaries, rent, insurance are recognized on the basis of period to which they relate and not when these are paid. Similarly, costs like depreciation of fixed assets is divided over the period during which asset is used. The matching concept thus implies that all revenues earned during an accounting year, whether received during that year or not, and all costs incurred whether paid during the year or not, should be taken into account while ascertaining the profit and loss for that year. Next one is full disclosure concept. Information provided by the financial statement are used by different groups of people such as investor, lender, supplier and others in taking various financial decisions. In the corporate form of organization, there is a distinction between those managing the affair of an enterprise and those owing it. Financial statements, however, are the only or basic means of communicating financial information to all interested parties. It becomes all the more important, therefore, that the financial statements make a full and fair and adequate disclosure of all the information which is relevant for taking financial decisions. The principle of full disclosure requires that all material and relevant facts concerning financial performance of an enterprise must be fully and completely disclosed in the financial statements and their accompanying footnotes. This is to enable the user to make correct assessment about the profitability and financial soundness of an enterprise and help them to take informed decision. To ensure the proper disclosure of material accounting information, the Indian Companies Act 1956 has provided a format for the preparation of profit and loss account and balance sheet of a company which needs to be compulsory either for the preparation of these statement. Next one is consistency concept. The accounting information provided by the financial statement will be useful in drawing conclusion regarding the working of an enterprise only when it allows comparison over a period of time as well as with the working of other enterprise. Thus, both interfirm and interperiod comparison are required to be made. This can be possible only when accounting policies and practice followed by enterprise are uniform and are consistent over the period of time. To illustrate, an investor want to know the financial performance of an enterprise in the current year as compared to that in the previous year. He may compare this year net profit with the last year, but if the accounting policies adopted, say with respect to depreciation in the 2 years are different, the profit figure will not be comparable as the depreciation amount for the different year is different. Because the method adopted for the valuation of a stock in the past 2 years is inconsistent. It is therefore important that the concept of consistency is followed in preparation of financial statements so that the result of two accounting periods are comparable. Consistency eliminates personal bias and help in achieving results that are comparable. Also, the comparison between financial result of two enterprise will be meaningful only if same kind of accounting method and policies are adopted in preparation of financial statement. However, consistency does not prohibit change in accounting policies. Necessary required changes are fully disclosed by presenting them in the financial statements, indicating their probable effect on the financial result of the business. Next one is conservatism concept. The concept of conservatism is also called prudence. Provide guidance for recording transaction in the books of account and is based on the policy of playing safe. The concept states that a conscious approach should be adopted in ascertaining income so that profit of the enterprise are not overstated. If the profit ascertained are more than the actual, it may lead to distribution of dividend out of capital, which is not fair as it will lead to reduction in the capital of an enterprise. The concept of conservatism required that profit should not be recorded until realized, but all losses, even those which may have remote possibilities, are to be provided for in the books of account. To illustrate, valuing closing stock at cost or market value, whichever is lower. Creating a provision for doubtful debts, discount on debtors, writing of intangible asset like goodwill, patent, etc. From the books of account are some of the examples of application of the principle of conservatism. Thus, if the market value of the goods purchased have fallen down, the stock will be shown at cost price in the books, but if the market value has gone up, the gain is not to be recorded until the stock is sold. This approach of providing for the losses but not recognizing the gain until realized is called conservative approach. This may be reflecting as a generally pessimist attitude adopted by the accountant, but is an important way of dealing with uncertainty and protecting the interest of creditor against an unwanted distribution of firm asset. However, deliberate attempt to underestimate the value of assets should be discouraged as it will lead to hidden profit called secret reserves. Next one is materiality concept. The concept of materiality requires that the accounting should focus on material facts. Effort should not be wasted in recording and presenting facts which are immaterial in determination of income. The question that arises here is what is material fact? The materiality of a fact depends upon its nature and the amount involved. Any fact will be considered as material if it is reasonably believed that its knowledge would influence the decision of informed user of financial statement. For example, money spent on creation of additional capacity of a theater will be material fact as it is going to increase the future earning capacity of the enterprise. Similarly, information about any change in the method of depreciation adopted or any liability which is likely to arise in the near future would be significant information. All such information about material facts should be disclosed through the financial statement and the accompanying notes so that the user can take informed decisions. In certain cases, when the amount involved is very small, strict adherence to accounting principle is not required. Next one is objectivity concept. The concept of objectivity required that accounting transactions should be recorded in an objective manner. That is, it should be free from bias of accountant and others. This can be possible when each of the transaction is supported by verifiable documents or vouchers. For example, the transaction for the purchase of material may be supported by cash receipt for the money paid, and if the same is purchased on cash or copy of invoice and delivery challan if the same is purchased on credit. Similarly, receipt for the amount paid for the purchase of a machine becomes the documentary evidence for the cost of machine and provide an objective basis for the verifying this transaction. One of the reasons for the adoption of historical cost as the basis of recording accounting transaction is that adherence to the principle of objectivity is made possible by it. As stated above, the cost actually paid for an asset can be verified from the document, but it is very difficult to ascertain the market value of an asset until it is actually sold. Not only that, the market value may vary from person to person, place to place, but also objectivity cannot be maintained if such values are adopted for accounting purpose. So these are the concepts of accounting. So now let's talk about the system of accounting. The system of recording transaction in the books of account are generally classified into two types, that is double entry system and single entry system. Double entry system is based on the principle of dual aspect, which state that every transaction has two effect, that is receiving of a benefit and giving of a benefit. Each transaction therefore involves two or more account and is recorded at different places in the ledger. The basic principle followed is that every debit must have a corresponding credit. Thus, one account is debited and another is credited. Double entry system is a complete system as both the aspect of a transaction are recorded in the books of account. The system is accurate and more reliable as the possibilities of fraud and misappropriation are minimized. The arithmetic inaccuracies in records can mostly be checked by preparing the trial balance. The system of double entry can be implemented by big as well as small organizations. So now let's talk about the single entry. Single entry system is not complete system of maintaining record of financial transaction. It does not record two-fold effect of each and every transaction. Instead of maintaining all the accounts, only personal account and cash books are maintained under this system. In fact, this is not a system but a lack of system as no uniformity is maintained in the recording of transaction. For some transaction, only one aspect is recorded, for other both the aspects are recorded. The account maintained under this system are incomplete and unsystematic and therefore not reliable. The system is however followed by small business firm as it is very simple and flexible. So now let's talk about the basis of accounting. From the point of view the timing of recognition of revenue and cost, there can be two broad approaches to accounting, that are cash basis and accrual basis. Under the cash basis, entries in the books of account are made when cash is received or paid and not when the receipt or payment becomes due. Let us say example, if office rent for the month of December is paid in January, it will be recorded in the book of account only in January. Similarly, sale of good on credit in the month of January will not be recorded in January but say in April when the payment for the same is received. Thus, this system is incompatible with the matching principle, which states that revenue of a period is matched with the cost of the same period. Though simple, this method is inappropriate for some organization as profit is calculated as a difference between the receipt and disbursement of money for the given period rather than on happening of the transactions. Next is accrual basis. Under this, revenues and costs are recognized in the period in which they occur rather when they are paid. A distinction is made between the receipt of cash and the right to receive cash and payment of cash and legal obligation to pay cash. Thus, under this system, the monetary effect of a transaction is taken into account in the period in which they are earned rather than in the period in which cash is actually received or paid by the enterprise. This is more appropriate basis for the calculation of profit as expenses are matched against revenue and in relation there. For example, raw material consumed are matched against the cost of goods sold. So now let's talk about the accounting standards. Accounting standards are written policy document covering the aspects of recognition, measurement, treatment, presentation and disclosure of accounting transaction in financial statement. Accounting standard is an authoritative statement issued by ICAI, a professional body of accounting in our country. The objective of accounting standard is to bring uniformity in different accounting policies in order to eliminate non-comparability of financial statement for enhancing reliability of financial statement. Secondly, the accounting standard provide a set of standard accounting policies, valuation norms and disclosure requirements. In addition to improving credibility of accounting data, accounting standard enhance the comparability of financial statement both intra and inter enterprises. Such comparisons are very effective and widely used for assessment of firm performance by the user of accounting. Needs for accounting standard. Accounting extend information to various users of information. Accounting information can serve the interest of different users only if it possesses the uniformity and full disclosure of relevant information. There can be alternate accounting treatment and valuation norms which may be used for by any business entity. Accounting standard facilitate the scope of those alternatives which fulfill the basic qualitative characteristic of true and fair financial statement. Benefit of accounting standards. Accounting standards help in eliminating variation in accounting treatment to prepare financial statement. Accounting standard may call for disclosure of certain information which may not be required by law, but such information might be useful for general public, investor, and creditor. Accounting standard facilitate comparability between financial statement of a two company. Limitations of accounting standards are accounting standard make choice between different alternate accounting treatment difficult to apply. It is rigidly followed and fail to extend flexibility in applying accounting standard. Accounting standard cannot override the statute. The standard are required to be framed within the ambit of prevailing status. Applicability of accounting standard. Applicability of accounting standard except the purely charitable organization which does not have any commercial, industrial, and business activity. Accounting standard is applicable to first sole proprietorships, partnership firms, societies, trust, Hindu undivided family, association of person, cooperative societies, companies, and international financial reporting system. What is the need for IFRS? The important economic decisions are made on the basis of financial statement. In order to avoid manipulation of figures in the financial account, there is need for consistent way of deciding which element required recognition and measurement and how information is presented in the financial statement. Hence, IFRS help to prevent material manipulation or error in financial statement. IFRS help in global harmonization. Unless accounting activities are regulated, different countries will apply different set of accounting rules and regulation are prevalent in each country. This will restrict uniformity and comparability of financial statement. Hence, IFRS promote global standard for each of the business growth. It facilitated global investment. The convergence of financial reporting and accounting standard is a valuable process that contribute to the global investment and achieves substantial benefit for all the capital market stakeholders. To uniform accounting policies and procedure, almost all countries have agreed to apply IFRS. So that's all what I have tell you about the accounting concepts and gap and IFRS and accounting standards. If you have any query in any of the slides, you can comment me in the comment box, and if you like my video, please press the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks for